All right, we're live. We're going to be doing a portfolio review today. All right, let me load up a couple things. I already posted on Discord, so I think we're good there. But let me go ahead and load up chat. How's everyone doing? Hey, Cheddar. Hey, Coat Thing. How you doing? Pop out chat. All right, I am feeling synthwave for sure today. 100%. Man, my VPN is slow. I set it so it won't activate for OBS, but everything else, I can't find a good IP. I don't know how big of a fan I am of NordVPN. I've been considering ExpressVPN. I just don't want to pay for another whole year for another VPN. All right. Hello. Hello, hello. All right, let's load this up. There we go. I think we're good to go. We might even be able to turn that up in a bit. All right, cool. Let's jump into portfolio reviews. Let's see, what is the next one that we want to do? I feel like Jacky's been waiting a while. Oh yeah, March 9th. Oh, that's right, because okay, I remember why I delayed that one. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and load this one up. Go and do a quick virus scan and all that. Hello, Maine. How you doing? Oh, hello. Definitely want my VPN on. That's the thing. When my IP's slow, I usually deactivate it. And so then I forget to reactivate it. Highly recommend a VPN if you care about privacy and security. Highly recommended. Everyone should be using one. All right, here we go. Let's load it up. Hey, Nickel. How you doing? Jacky T. I'm a software developer. You guys can't even see it. Of course you can't, because I forget to click my buttons. There we go. Hold on. All right, we're back. Let's jump into it. All right, so I believe Jacky has an internship right now. Hi, I'm Jacky. I'm a software engineer. Check out my GitHub. Should open up in a new tab. It does. Perfect. Experience, Shopify, presence, internship. Cool. I mean, that's a really good way to start. Software developer, January 2022 to present, 2022. Okay. Definitely a longer internship at IBM. I mean, yeah, this is a really good start. I wonder where you are now, if you still have that internship. I mean, at Shopify, maybe... I have a feeling if you still are at that internship, you're trying to get a full-time position at Shopify. Projects. Okay, so you have cards within cards. Little difficult to look at. You have a stronger drop shadow on the second, like the containing card. I wonder if this is necessary. I wonder what I would do differently to showcase these. It's just like, I don't know, a white card inside of a white container card. It's not like it feels hard to separate the content, But even just like with a little bit of a shade, whether it's in one of these cards or the containing card, just something to improve. I don't know, what do I want to say? The focus, the contrast. Like the contrast is fine for reading the text, but I feel like, I don't know, if I had to like rate how readable this is when you stack cards inside of cards like this, it's like a 60-70%. Usually you can alleviate that. I mean, you could do it with spacing. I don't know. I would want to see other websites that have patterns like this. Good as always. How was your Monday? You said you had pushed a lot on your to-do list for Monday. It was busy. I think I didn't get done until 3 hours before I wanted to get some sleep. That's pretty much every day, though. I definitely pushed some stuff because there was a lot of Norton stuff and like antivirus and security, and I have like I have a separate drive with all my YouTube content, and that started crashing. So I have to figure out some of the errors. It's technical errors that I have to go through. So today is actually the day where I catch up on that. It's pretty good though. Monday was a very productive day. I was happy with it. Glad to hear you're doing well though. Hey Christopher, how you doing? Welcome back. Yo, Cheddar. Like an off-white or a light gray, I can agree with that. I would like to see how it would look. Could make a difference. But anyways, you have the languages, 3D first person renderer and a browser keyboard needed to interact, MERN stack, simulated, stock trading platform. Do you really need MERN stack when you have it here? Try not to repeat your words. The shorter you can make your content to get right to the point, the better. Find shortest path between 2D points on a 2D matrix. And so a lot of these, they're personal projects, understandably. But, it's really, you don't really have to do this as a developer, but if you want to take it a step forward, to have a case study of like why you're even building this, like what problem you're actually trying to solve, even if it's just to explore a different framework or language, just extra context around like, even just like a challenge that you found really interesting. It doesn't have to be like an official case study, but more context around that project that can show growth or show a transparent window into your growth is really helpful. Don't expect them to just go to the GitHub and like look through your code. I'm telling you, like hiring managers don't have time for that. So I would say like these projects, what you're listing, you have all of the bare bones basics of where like it's a pretty good portfolio, and the advice that I'm giving, it's just to take it a step up. Like this is a pretty good looking portfolio. You lay out the information nicely, you highlight your projects. I'm assuming the project that you want highlighted that's most important, or that you perceive to be most important to most employers, that should be your first project. So having that in order of priority is important. When I see this, I'm like, I don't know, you're a software developer, but like you're entry level, well, yeah, I would say you're still entry level. And what can you even do? I see MERN stack, I see Node, I see 3JS, which is really cool. I love 3JS and I want to dive into it at some point. And I see C++, it just seems like you're spread too thin. So continue. I mean, if you're working at these are going to be what you highlight, right? Your projects become less important, but your projects don't, at this point, they probably get you into the internship. They don't really say a whole lot about like what you're pretty good with, what you want to focus on, what you're interested in. And so you're going to speak a lot more to these. This is what you want to highlight. Probably more information on that, but it depends, right? If your portfolio website is the only way that they're going to access it is a cold application, they go directly to this website, then, like they're probably going to have this information on your resume. This is what you're going to be emphasizing. If you feel like you're getting any traffic, even from like LinkedIn, etc., that can come to this website, then I would consider expanding on this. Maybe even just like, sometimes you can't talk about the projects, you have an NDA, but I don't know, just something to think about. But if it's a cold application, I think it's fine. Pretty clean portfolio. Let's just check. Yep, new tab, source code, cool. Take a look at the source code. Overview, external libraries used, techniques. Pretty good README, locating the camera. No way to start up this app, apparently. 1 second. 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 1 Okay, you kept it pretty minimal. Let me look at your MERN stack. Do you at least have... Let's see. Data, developing. Okay, so you have installation instructions for the MERN stack specifically. Okay, that's fine. I mean, you didn't load it with anything like React, so not too concerned about that. I think you definitely put some time and effort into your readmes. Pretty clean portfolio. Let's just make sure. Cool. Check out my GitHub. Clicked on that already. Mock stocks. Do these projects match? Not necessarily. WebGL, socket controller, computer vision, algorithm evaluator. Definitely feels back-end heavy. It feels like you just like experimenting with different technologies, which can be attractive to some employers. I still don't really know what you're good at. But maybe it is just being open to learning something brand new. And like, I could see this being very attractive for agency work specifically. Yeah. Before I jump into mobile, what do you guys think? Solving business problems is good. It definitely is. As a newbie to tech folks, or folios? Tech folios, okay. As a newbie to tech folios, should they be coded by us, or do we use something like WordPress? Is there more than just content, like aesthetics, that we need to worry about while making one? Not really. If you are going to use any sort of content management system or site builder, your portfolio is the website to do that on. And the projects are what you're going to be showcasing, right? That's the code that's probably going to matter. So you can see your portfolio as a marketing website. I don't think it should be your initial go-to. Like if you're like, man, I'm working on this project. It's going to take like 2 more months. Like I have so much depth to it. And you don't have a portfolio yet, you probably shouldn't waste much time on your portfolio. And your portfolio, like custom coding it, that should be a task like way later on if you even want to. Your priority is going to be that interesting project that you're going to talk about in the interview. I'm telling you, no one ever talks about portfolios in interviews unless you have some like masterpiece of a portfolio, or like it's just really creative and unique. Like some people will create a game out of their portfolio, which can actually hurt them, because if you take forever to actually get to the projects and no one has no way to figure out what you can do, that definitely can hurt you. But yeah, good question. There's a link on the right. I see those live demo links. There are, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and look at mobile. While we do this, I like to do an empty refresh. Size. Cool. Kept it pretty slim. Oops, I had it the wrong way. That's still pretty slim. Yeah, that's pretty good. This button should be bigger on mobile. It's hard to click. I mean, you're not gonna click on anything else, so probably it should be fine, but I think that, I don't know. That feels like it's just going to take a little bit of effort to like pinpoint down that button. I would enlarge that a bit on mobile. Spacing, vertical spacing. Projects. Yeah, because you don't even have consistent spacing between here and here, do you? Maybe you do, and the drop shadows throw me off. But yeah, spacing between these cards. So here is where I would break out of the cards. I don't think this just starts cramming everything in, having these cards here on mobile. There's no reason to have them. You could just have a header. You'd even have these cards of like the different projects. That's fine. I would consider having maybe like some sort of horizontal separator rather than condensing it into a card and seeing if that looks better, but I'm not saying it will. But I think having cards stacked within a container card, it's cramming way too much. And in order to like not condense these borders and make it look ridiculous like this, you have to have some spacing. And again, it's just cramming that text even more. Yeah, this is a little bit harder to read. The buttons, I mean, the buttons will start enlarging when you give this card more space to expand. A little spacing from the text would be nice. Yeah, everything like on mobile is just crammed up. I would focus on both. I mean, I think it's vertical spacing that you have an issue with. And then same thing with these. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Overall, I think it's a pretty good portfolio, right to the point. It's clean. You can check out your projects right away. I'm not sure if you should have more or less context with these projects. It depends on why you even built them in the first place. But yeah, that's what I think about it. What do you guys think about it? This portfolio. Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the heat down. I forgot to do that. All right, we're back. The heat was down. For some reason, the heat is still rising. I don't like that. I hate being in the period of the year where it's just hot enough not to have to use your heat, but it's not hot enough to necessarily turn the air conditioning on. Because I think like below 60 degrees or around there, you can start damaging the unit. So it's just trying to juggle that temperature. That's where I'm at right now. I see you've been commending how clean and minimalist it is. How about portfolio websites with articles and videos? Does it make the website more valuable, or one should keep it minimal? So when I talk about minimal, when I talk about clean, clean is, I don't know. It depends on the website. I think white space can go a long way with creating divisions of content and separating it out and making it essentially containers and content more readable on the eyes. And the whole point of a minimalist design is really to think about the minimal amount of content you need to deliver what you're trying to deliver, whether that's information, if it's a solution, if it's a funnel into a sign up, right? I think minimalist, the whole point of it is really just to focus on delivering the minimal that you need to give the user that solution or whatever you're trying to deliver that user. And so if that content with articles, etc., if that helps, if you have extra content within those articles, or I don't know, little intros, or you have share links, etc., just make sure that the action is worth that real estate on the website. You have to know exactly what your goals are when a user lands on your website. What do you want them to do? So a minimalist focus is really diving deep into that and being critical. Do I really need this? Oh, it's yours? You are welcome for the feedback. Yeah, it's been a while since I was able to do yours, so thank you for being patient. I agree, very minimalistic. Is it beneficial to put more of your personality into it? I mean, a resume has the same purpose, and this seems like a good opportunity to make it more personable. Yeah, it just depends on what you mean by that, right? So, I don't know. I don't want to pick on portfolios we've reviewed in the past, but if your idea... So, for example, I've had a portfolio where there was an intro page, and I think the developer was trying to be quirky, trying to be funny. I gotta put silence on for Wednesdays. So they were trying to be quirky and funny, and I think they had a little about me blurb, and you had to I don't know, I think you had to type something into the command line to move on to your portfolio. And that technically showcased that person's personality, but a hiring manager goes through so many resumes and portfolios. You really think they're going to stick around to navigate through your game to get to your portfolio? No, right? So there's a balance to be struck, and I think your portfolio definitely can showcase your personality, but you can also overdo it, right? So you want to make the flow into the information that you deliver as easy as possible. And if you can add that flair, that personality to that process without making it take longer, without making it be more difficult, then yes, by all means, add your personality into it. If you start delaying that, You're going to start creating frustration in the user. Remember, hiring managers are people just like the rest of us, and I'm telling you, we don't have attention spans anymore. No one does. Just in human beings in general, we just don't have the attention spans. Navigating through websites, we just navigate through way too many websites. So you have to be generous. You have to be, I don't know, I don't want to call it like respectful, like you're morally obligated, but you have to understand that people don't have a lot of time to view your website. Get to the point. Add your flair, but get to the point. Don't delay that. If you can do that, sure. It's a good question, though. The portfolios you review, the people always come into the stream. Yeah, Chris, I noticed that. I actually noticed that. I feel like they're probably in Discord, and then I post it in the live stream, and I don't know. I don't know how they always show up, but they do. Because I don't actually notify them beforehand. I notify them afterwards. Glad it helped, Tommy. I tried to limit the amount of reading needed. You did. You definitely did. It's a pretty minimalist portfolio for sure. But like I said, think about your audience. Think about how they get to this website. Yeah, like I said, these are the things that you're probably going to highlight, most likely. Your projects kind of don't really speak to anything specific. Just shows that you like diving into different things, which is also a good thing, but potentially. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. If you missed it, you can definitely rewind and watch the rest of it, but glad it helped. All right, cool. Let's go to the next one. Thank you, Jacky. Is the music too soft or too loud? There's no way it's too loud. No way it's too loud. Don't even dare tell me it's too loud. All right. Do a virus scan. Malware scan. Cool. All right. Cool, let's load it up. All right, before we do this, I'll go ahead and answer that question. What do you think of having a ton of medium level projects in your portfolio in comparison to having 4 really good ones? Is that, does less make you look like... It's not the amount, it's the complexity that you should focus on. Yeah, I think you're going to have a bunch of basic projects in the beginning, and if that's all you have to showcase, yeah, put them on your portfolio, but eventually those should be replaced by more complex projects. Yeah, I mean, like it's a running goal, or it's just something that you're always working on the progress of. So, because you never know when you're going to get a job, you're going to, once you get those even basic projects up, you could start applying, and then while you're applying, you continue diving deeper into more complex projects. All right, I'm not a web dev, but I can submit my portfolio for a review. And how? I don't... Check the video description. You should... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Live portfolio review. I created a command for it. I knew this moment would happen. I created a command for it. I got you. If that command doesn't work, I'm gonna cry. All right. It works. There you go. There's your form. Let's go ahead and load it up. Simon, please tell me the Z is silent or I'm going to butcher your name. Okay, let's go ahead and do a hard refresh. Actually, because I want to see that load in. Okay. All right, let's dive into it. Simon, what? Oh, I missed it. Get in touch if you need support with your website or you are looking to create a new one. Maybe you have a button for that. If you have a call to action, there's nothing wrong with that, but have a button that leads down probably to your contact form. Okay, so it doesn't scroll through. Open source fan. Fan? Are you a fan or contributor? Those are different things. About me, my desktop applications was Ubuntu Touch Manager. got involved in open source. Okay, so, I mean, I think it's going to be very clear that you are very interested in open source. If you are, that's something... Oh my god, that takes way too long. Hold on. That's like over a full second for something to happen. That's jarring. Your animation shouldn't take that long. Not these kind of animations. And also, like, there's no reason for these to animate. This just feels like, why? Animation should be an indicator of something potentially that could happen. But like, I click it, nothing happens, right? Like, this is just for fun animation. I think you want to try to avoid animations like that. You want to showcase that you know when and how to use animations, when they're important, when they're relevant, when they add value to the user. Like this, right? You enlarge it and the mouse cursor switches, so it showcases that I probably can take action on this. It loads this. That's appropriate. Oh, you can see these are really shoved up against the picture. You want to give a little bit of space between this image and this. Contrast is a little poor. Why not make these a bit larger with a white background? I wonder how that would look. Garage Manager is complete online solution created from scratch using Laravel. Man, this white is... Why isn't this just like white? Why is this like a eggshell white or off color? Kind of grayish white. Makes the contrast much poorer. Key features. Okay, mention your technologies as well. Am I missing that? Laravel is a backend, API server, and React is front end. Okay, you do. I like listing out your features. I would even have a section for this for your technologies, right? And then maybe you have a summary here, technologies, key features. That's how I would personally separate it out, because I think like key features are pretty relevant. So are technologies. Highlight that out, and then if people are interested in the summary and then they want to focus on either one of those that matters to them afterwards, you give them that opportunity. This contrast is really poor. You might consider a larger text or a bolder text. Okay, so it goes to an external link, good. Let's take a look real quick. Okay, so you at least have the bare bones of an installation for your README. You can also put some of this information on your README, but that installation is important. At least you have that. All right. So if I click out of this, it does close. Good. X. Should we start focusing on accessibility? Might not be a bad thing, because I think it can be... Ooh, I wonder if I like how you broke this up. It can be relevant. I'm not someone that is a huge advocate where every website should be fully accessible to everyone. I think the product matters. I think the audience that you have matters. I'm not a very strong advocate on that, but accessibility, because even like a lot of companies, you know, they'll toss out older browsers, right? And if you're doing that, are you really making your website accessible? Like majority of companies do that. They have a list of supported browsers. Yet they still focus on, so you could focus on like aspects of accessibility that matter for your customers to be able to use your product effectively. But I still think accessibility is something that people completely brush over and don't put any attention into whatsoever. So I think a moderate focus into it can be helpful. And I think being knowledgeable in that area when so many others do pass over it, it can make you stand out as well. And like some accessibility things can matter in terms of, you know, increasing your rankings with certain keywords of different search results. So, okay, no live link, but you have images. I wonder why there's not a live link. Images, Queens, modern, elegant website for local garage based in Bristol with nice graphics. Animations, okay. Live link. You are a huge fan of animations. Okay, so you have the technologies here. A little bit hard to see on this background. Is there a reason why you don't just have a solid color here? Did you try it with the solid color? How did that look? I wonder if... It just feels like... I don't know. The contrast isn't horrible. But I think you even did... It might have the same color, actually. This one's just bold, so it looks a bit lighter. But yeah, this text is a little bit more readable. I don't know. I'm just thinking through it. I don't know if I have any other comments. Responsive website. It looks like you've definitely have done some freelance projects. I love your face. Again, you should have a button here. Your projects definitely showcase that you have done some freelance projects. I'm not going to try this form, but I'm going to assume it works. And you probably should have like if you click send, cool, you have errors that pop up. These links should be external links that open up in a new tab. Perfect. I mean, why? Brighten this. Definitely brighten this. I feel like that's interesting that you chose pink. It's kind of an alert color. When purple... That's the thing. This is where I think people try to be a little bit too creative with what they think looks good. Pink feels awfully close to the purple that you have for these call to action links. I think this is actually pink. It's just on top of purple, so I can't even notice it. And I think you're reusing that color to indicate alerts, and you're not being consistent with that, right? So you should have a call to action color, but you should probably have a separate color, and usually it's red. I mean, you can get creative with it as long as you're consistent, but usually it's red for a reason, right? People, when they see that red, it's usually an error text that allows their brain to quickly understand something is wrong with the page. And now that this is pink, when you change stuff like that, usually it's not a good idea. And especially when you're mixing it close to this call to action color, I would start really thinking about like what actually is your call to action color and what is your error color, and separate those and improve contrast here. About me, skills, projects. Okay. I think that's it for desktop. What do you guys think of it? Let's check out mobile. Let's do a hard refresh. We're going to clear this. Man, this is starting to add up. Why are they this large? When do you need them to be this large? Oh, here? So I guess here's another thing. Combining a freelance portfolio and one that's focused on employers can be a little bit difficult. In general, technologies don't matter. This should not be above your projects, right? But this might be a little bit more relevant to employers. And they could probably see that from your projects anyways. Does this section matter? Probably not, right? No, like almost no CEO or marketing agency is ever going to care about you having this section up, and it's just more space until you get down to the meat of things. So I get why these logos are here and why they're this, or no, I get why they're this large. I just don't think you need those logos to be that large, given how you used them elsewhere. I really like the click on project and more info pops up feature. Gives the person a choice to look at the extra content, but makes the layout small enough to quickly cycle through it. Yeah, a modal can be definitely a fairly useful solution if it's not too complex and it doesn't have more things in the pipeline of what you can do in terms of actions that'll lead you like deeper into a modal. Like you're not getting modals within modals. Yeah, it's a good observation. All right. Simple navigation, skills. Contact me. Recent projects. Okay, so it's a little bit readable. I mean, like the contrast, that gray. I mean, the thing is, you don't need this to be gray. It could be white, potentially. You can have a border around your images if that's what you're concerned with. I mean, it depends, but usually, like, if you have this, I forgot the term for it, but you essentially have this outside area that overlaps your background below this modal, and it kind of grays everything out. So you don't really have to worry about changing the, you don't have to worry about like making this darker so it doesn't blend in with this background, because that outside div that you have overshadowing everything already does that for you. And then you can make this white, you can make this pop, make it much more readable. That's what I would do. These buttons are way too small on mobile. This is hard to read. This is really hard to read. These icons are so small, like... Yeah, this is going to be too hard to actually click this button. You might want to break this into another div. This is just way too small to try to click, especially if you're going to try to click between this and this on a mobile device. That's way too small. Text is pretty good size. It's readable. Again, I'm not sure you should darken this white, though. It just ruins the contrast. Pretty good portfolio. I think he could retouch the animations to make things snappier. The animations do feel slow. I agree with that. I think even like the contact when we would, let's see, actually we could probably do this, do a refresh. Actually, what happens if I do that again? It doesn't animate. Okay, that's what I figured. Contact. I don't know, this comes in. Do you really, I get the feeling it's just too many animations, too many different animations. With that scroll and the contact, essentially, I think like the first letter would come down first and the rest of the letters would follow. But you wouldn't really see that animation anywhere else in the form. It just, with this portfolio, I would say this portfolio uses way too many animations that doesn't really serve any value, any purpose to the user. I would start simplifying some of that. This button could be larger as well. I just noticed that. That's a good point, Cheddar. I just noticed that 5.2 megabytes is ridiculous. Is absolutely ridiculous. I have a feeling... Okay, let's clear this actually. We could do this. Let's see, what do I want to do? Yeah, let's go ahead and clear this. I want to see what happens when you click into this. So he does load multiple images. Oh, you make an API request. That's kind of interesting. I thought you were making an API. Okay, you weren't even making those initial API requests. So what the hell is adding to your size? Wait, hold on. Okay, you don't make multiple API. Okay. Well, okay, so that can add up with API requests, but you don't have a lot of traffic. And I would argue that bundle is already large, so I'm not completely against when you do move over. I think you're loading the next element and then you time it, and then you already have that element loaded, but then when you go to that element, then you make an API call for the following element. Maybe that was happening? Actually, I want to figure that out. Kind of curious. Do you just... Hold on. You actually load it and just load it right away. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you're not preloading it. It's not this causing the massive load. Let's go ahead and clear this out. Let's do a refresh. Let's figure out what's causing it. Because that is... 5 megabytes is a lot. I think that was even loaded on mobile, right? It's lazy loading images. Yeah, got it. Could be a lot of image requests as they scroll through it, but I mean, you're probably not going to hit any limits in terms, because you're probably not going to have a whole lot of people on your website in terms of like the number of API requests coming through. It's interesting how portfolio layouts and desktop look great, but some don't translate well to mobile. Seems like you need a good balance of making it interesting to stand out, but also simple enough to translate well over to mobile. And that's why it's a hard thing to get down, is to figure out the minimal information that you need to deliver, and to deliver it in a way, like a lot of people won't even like pull it up on their phone and just scroll through it and test it, right? That's how you get tiny buttons like this that aren't really usable, that will like mesh, you know, with your GitHub and your live link. That's what happens. You have to test this stuff out, and you have to look for that kind of stuff. Okay, let's do a hard refresh. It's loading it from cache. 38 CSS file, PNGs. It's loading a lot of files. Again, these skills are probably irrelevant. It's probably an irrelevant section. Like the cold application is going to have your skills already. Your projects are going to have your skills, so you can shrink these images down even more, because this is really all you need. And I think that's kind of a big one. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, I missed it. There is no way. There's no way if you send this to a minifier. Hold on, I'm going to give you... oh, you're using JPEG. Okay, tiny JPG. Tiny JPG. 100% recommend. You toss your images in this website. Really good website. You can also find one at tiny PNG. Toss your images. It'll compress them. Looks pretty much the same. I highly recommend people optimize their websites focused on, you know, reducing those sizes more than anything. Like, you could at least minify it once. Yeah. Damn, that's big. Wave preview. What? This is probably this wave, the pattern. For the pattern itself, I'm kind of surprised it's that big. There are definitely some optimizations that you can do, and we even talked about like maybe even a solid color makes sense here. Yeah, but 5 megabytes is way too large. Way too large. Cool. That's a good observation. Yeah, buttons could be larger here as well. You might consider pushing them down, having them wrap. Not wrap, like just put this in a separate div and put it down here. It's just really, a lot of your call to actions are just a little bit too small. Yeah. I think that's about it for this one. What do you guys think? To be honest, I think choosing the right color palette is very important in keeping things simple and minimalist. Some color combos just don't require a lot of creativity to pop. Well, yeah, and I mean, you can even get color pickers of like, if you're going over 5 colors, using that, like over 5 colors on your website for a very basic portfolio website, maybe you're using too many colors. Think about how many tools will just give you like a color palette and even give you examples of different websites that utilize that color palette. But I think the problem, I mean, yeah, and if you keep it that simple, it kind of forces you, I mean, you might expand with like error messages and stuff like that. But as far as, I don't know, patterns can look pretty good, but we're not going to dive into this. I would just get rid of this section. I think it's irrelevant for the most part. If you're going to have these here. Yeah, anyways, that's pretty much what I have. But yeah, it's hard to, I think people will actually, here's the problem. A lot of people will dive into what the color palette should be and the design should be before they even figured out all the content of the page, right? And so taking like a basic wireframe, you should focus on creating a very, very basic black and white wireframe that has kind of like a call to action color or a focus or a primary, primary call to action color, and even a secondary call to, well, no, you shouldn't have to worry about like primary, secondary, and tertiary. Is that the word? Call to action colors. Just focus on the primary. If you have buttons that are relevant, just build your basic wireframe with your main call to action. And if you don't really know what your main call to action is, you're not really ready to design this. And so content should always, always, always come first. And figuring that out first with a basic black and white wireframe with a primary call to action color. It could be red, it could be orange. It doesn't matter. You're going to change a color down the road, but it helps you understand what are the most important buttons on your website, right? What are you trying to get the user to do? That alone, I think, can prevent a lot of people from tripping themselves up and getting overwhelmed by coming up with the color palette, with the design. Because then you could look at colors. I even think it's worth it. Like if you feel like you just want to learn more about UX and color theory and stuff like that, you can look at the psychology usually related to colors, right? Colors typically, based on our previous experiences, will invoke an emotion, right? What kind of emotion do you want to invoke in the person looking at your website? You can get into like really basic color theory that can just get you a little bit more comfortable with color theory in general and choosing your color palette. But I mean, you could even get into the basics of UX and just looking up like common usable patterns that you can apply to your website. Stuff like that. I think people, they jump into like, okay, well now I got to try to design it, right? And think about colors at the same time that I'm trying to design it. And all the while they haven't even figured out like the basic steps that designers even usually go through before they're at that late stage thing that's called like a high fidelity mockup. And I think people jump into like trying to build out their website and make it look pretty all at once. And I'm telling you, maybe you're different than me, but that to me gets very overwhelming very quickly. And it makes me even like stop some of my projects I've just canceled out because I'm like, I don't really like, this is kind of overwhelming. I don't really know what the rest of the website should look like, how it should flow. And you have to break this up into really fundamental and basic steps. It's what designers do, professional designers do, and you're actually overcomplicating it for yourself. So it's just something to keep in mind. I'm not saying, Simon, that you did this. I'm just kind of going off on a rant about this. But yeah, overall, I think the portfolio is pretty good. I would really consider whether this is like a freelance focused one, which might actually have a different flow to it, or one that you're just handing off to employers. But yeah, that's my feedback. Hopefully it was helpful. I agree. I love dark blue and orange combos. Do you? Dark blue and orange reminds me of like dark blue and orange. Kind of reminds me of like deep server data analytics, or even like fitness. I've seen websites with that kind of color palette with fitness, but I'm sure there are plenty of others. That's just what comes to mind. Thank you for your time to review my portfolio. I'll make some suggested adjustments shortly. You're welcome. I'm glad it was helpful, Simon. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name the whole time. Cool. Let's go on to our next one. All right. Nope, that's yours again. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and do our normal checks. It's taking a very long time to analyze this website. Is this website down? Oh, okay, so it's a Netlify one, and it probably has like kind of like a standby mode or sleep mode if no one has visited the website in a while. Okay. All right. All right, I think we're ready. I know you checked that, like, you cleared all your information out, but I'm not gonna click on your resume. Okay, whatever. You checked the box. You know this is public, so let's go ahead and load it up. Oh, I didn't butcher it. It is Simon. Okay, good to know. Whew. Yeah, and by the way, people that are willing to have their portfolio review live, kudos to you. A lot of people are too shy to do it. All right, here we go. This is Ambareen. Ambareen's personal portfolio Netlify. Wow, that was a long load time. Speed that up. Your call to action took forever to load in. Probably enlarge that as well. Front-end developer, cool. You chose one. I actually had my mind change. Stop calling yourself a full stack developer. You focus on one, right? You can showcase the technologies you've used through your projects, but I'm telling you, when a lot of hiring managers look at full stack developers that haven't even been in the industry yet, they're like, okay, their knowledge is probably spread very thin. Yo, can you, yeah, the highlight wouldn't drop. All right, so LinkedIn opens to a new tab. Cool. Let's just check out your GitHub. Wow, this is empty. Have you been coding? What's been going on? That's kind of a red flag. I would start working on your next project. And then resume, email, phone number, about work, contact. Cool. Let's, what happens when I click on work? Jumps to it. Okay, you have a pretty big about. I mean, it's a neat design. About me. 21-year-old self-taught. Glad that you highlighted that. I'm sure employers are going to appreciate that. Okay, so you essentially still seem like you're learning. You're a student. You're honest. And I think extremely hardworking, diligent, determined individual who has excellent problem-solving skills, design-oriented. This is probably more relevant than blah, 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 because this is on every single resume. This, design-oriented. Okay, I think a front-end team can appreciate that. It's not that this isn't bad. It's just like, you know, employers see that and they're like, okay, you're like the 100th person that said that. But it's a good thing, but, you know, doesn't provide much value. My spare time, I enjoy spending time with family, friends, going for walks, coding, and taking care of my little dwarf hamster. Okay. I mean, like, you're showcasing your personality, which is pretty cool. If you could provide a picture of yourself, that's going to be a bonus because, like, this feels like a portfolio. It's a pretty sleek design. You could personalize it a bit, and I'm wondering if you're trying to avoid doing that. But, like, when you have comments like this, now you can start catering to employers, to teams that like want that kind of quirky, I don't know what you want to say, It's like an adorable personality. It's like an endearing personality. Maybe that's the word I'm thinking of. Where it's like little dwarf hamster with a smiley face. It makes things a little bit more personable. It showcases your personality, but like you could really deliver it home with a picture of, because I'm telling you, pictures personalize that experience a lot more. Resume, scroll down. Okay. It's creative portfolio. Cool. SAS, SCSS. Adobe XD, definitely a design-oriented developer. That can be valuable. Mobile-first approach. We will see. Okay, we'll find out. Scroll down. Okay, do you really need this? I don't know. I'm wondering why you put that to take the amount of time. Like, you're kind of just delaying getting to the content. I'm having to repeat this over and over and have that be your separator of the content. I don't know what I think about that. Apple clone. It's me? Yo, your name's not Ambareen. You're a liar, Jeremy. It's not you. Combining them to create my own style from the, is that considered cheating or copying? Combining them to create my own style? No, that's not cheating or copying. A lot of developers or designers will gather ideas from looking at tons of works. You just obviously don't want to copy it. You can take parts of it and create your own style, and that's in essence what a lot of designers will do. And a picture of the hamster. Ooh, that would be good, Nickel. I like that. Can't tell me you have a hamster and not show me a picture of it. That's true. That's actually... Yeah, that's a good point. I think if you really don't want to put a picture of your face, like a picture of the hamster here would be pretty solid. All right, Apple clone. Responsive Apple clone built with SAS to display my design to code skills, HTML, view site. Man, your buttons are small. I don't know. It's not that they're too small. They're just... View site. Nothing happens here. Click, 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 click. View code. Nothing happens here. Click, 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 click. Okay, going down. View site. Okay, this one works. View code. That one works. What? Oh, you put your portfolio? Why? Featured project, featured. I guess it just seems silly to put your portfolio as a feature project. I did that when I built my portfolio and then I ditched it. Don't put your portfolio as your feature project in your portfolio. I don't think it's providing the value that you think it is. Just skip it. Feature project, Squarespace, design, clone, view website. That does not work. That does work. Okay, so remove the buttons. If you don't have links for them, remove the buttons. Absolutely. Cool. Full name. Okay, HTML5 validation. Message. Built and designed by Ambareen. Con. Man, that's really hugging the bottom. Okay. That's all right. Cool. I think you have I think you are design savvy. I really think you are. I think you like being creative with your design. Now you need to translate that design into... like, maybe this is necessary, right? Scroll down, but like, chances are you probably don't need this section to make the user take longer to scroll down. I would argue that's a little bit more of a frustrating experience, but like, you see how you divided it up here? That's what I would personally do for the rest of your sections. If you did this once, I don't know, it felt kind of cool and it felt interesting to see this for the first time, but using this as a divider over and over, it just makes me want to get rid of all those dividers, all of these. Cool. I like it. Overall, pretty good contrast, good spacing. Love the way you highlight your projects. It's just a clean design. It looks good. I think you can personalize a little bit more and double down with this, and I think that would really help. I think I don't know where you live. When I saw the photo, I don't want to keep popping it up on stream, but like I'm not sure if you're in the United States. I didn't recognize that as like a United States phone number. Maybe I'm like way off. But if you are outside the United States, you know, a lot of the feedback that I'm giving is within the United States. Even like, I would even argue Canada would appreciate stuff like that. But it depends on the country, how quirky and personalized you can get. Depends on the industry. It depends on the company that you're applying to. But let's go ahead and check out the mobile version, because so many times, it's so often designers really put a lot of time and resources into the design, but they don't really focus on optimization. So we're going to dive into that. Looks solid. I like the theme. Portfolio within portfolio recursion. Totally. Looks more like a UX portfolio, UI portfolio. I mean, it's a pretty good looking portfolio. It is. Opinion on phrasing it, full stack developer specializing in front end. That's fine too, Pickle. Yeah, that's completely fine too. You know, yeah, I think that's fine. If you want to showcase that you do know like a backend technology, but you're focused on front end, that's definitely a way to do it. Yeah, good question. All right, mobile. Why is there this? Okay, that's just sitting there. Okay, it just hugs that. Cool. This is way too small for mobile. This is way too small. Hard to read. Enlarge that text. Enlarge that button. But man, this is small text. This is where I'm telling you, this is a designer habit. It's a bad habit. Enlarge that text. Smaller text can make a design look good, but it does not make it usable, or more readable. Enlarge that text. Don't be shy. Like, don't go like 24, 48 pixels. Like, you can probably get away with at least minimum of 18 pixels. I would have said like 5 years ago, 16 pixels, but I don't know. Depends on your audience. We're using technology and computers all day long. Our vision's starting to go for a lot of people. Use 18 pixels for mobile. And another thing I noticed designers tend to do, this is, I don't know, this black streak here makes this a little bit hard to read, especially when you, especially when this orangish color or reddish orangish color, it just overlaps this black streak. It's a little bit harder to read. But you might consider using a serif font with the letter extensions. It makes this kind of text a little bit more readable as well. I think the line spacing is appropriate. You might need to enlarge it when you enlarge the text. You can figure that out. But there's enough line spacing with this font size. But I think a lot of designers also tend to use a serif font with paragraphs of text. And you have to realize it's not super readable when you do that. It's not that this is unreadable text. I'm just curious how this would look with a serif font. Enlarge this button, scroll down. And so having this scroll down with each section, especially on mobile now, it takes longer to scroll down. Well, maybe. I mean, you could just swipe it if it's just gliding down. I don't know. I feel like this is just not necessary though. Skills, feature projects. All right. Where can I submit my portfolio? My portfolio review. That should pop up a link. Go ahead and submit it there. I'm not going to lie, when I make a mobile responsive, I act like my grandma's going to be looking at it. Yes, that's exactly what you should be thinking about your grandma using it. I blow that font size up. I love it. Are you reviewing personal projects as well? I do, Cheddar. I do review personal projects as well. I think we have a couple. I just want to do portfolio websites today, but I even think Jacky had like a personal website. I got to check it out. I might do personal websites down the road, like for our next one, maybe. I like mixing it, like mostly portfolio projects, and I'll do one personal project. All right. Yeah, this is, yeah, again, it's just enlarging this text. Enlarging the buttons. Wait, what? I'm kind of confused. Okay, so you have your Apple. Why does this move down when you go up? This should just stay in the same place. Notice how it does that? See? There's no reason for this. This should be a sticky. There's no reason for this to move up. That happens with this as well. You probably are just looking for kind of a small window to be able to... I mean, this could be fixed with just a stick. I'm wondering how you get it stuck there. All right. Cool, and then you separate it. Feature project, that's the image, got it. I got a little bit lost thinking like, okay, which image is associated with which section? I would argue on mobile, the pictures are probably going to be more relevant. You might consider bringing this picture up to the top here, and then maybe having the about section and everything else. I think having a glimpse into what that is, having just a visual cue of whether I'm going to care about this or not, can be helpful. Get in touch. And you're probably not worried about the design of each project if you focused on design, and you seem to be a little bit more design savvy as well. A lot of spacing between this and this. Why is that? Man, this is really hugging the bottom. You can't even see this anymore. I don't know. Why? Wonder why you chose a contact form with a bubble like this instead of just having it. Well, I don't know. Maybe this makes sense. At this point, I'm probably just being picky. But yeah, that's my feedback for mobile. Did I even look at the network? I don't think I did. I think I skipped over it. Ambareen Khan. Speed that up, probably. Anytime, yeah, you never really want to hide a call to action through an animation. I don't know. What you could, so here's what you could do is like showcase this, load this in, and then have this start typing out. Because I would argue like your name's, no offense, is probably less relevant than the work that you can do at this point. They probably already know your name as well. So maybe you can have this load in. Well, this is a bit of a faster animation. This animation doesn't have to wait for this one to complete. Awesome, submitted it. All right, Travis. Sounds good. Now, I can't promise I'm going to get to all new submissions today, or if I even will get to new submissions, but I'll keep it in mind for the second one. And I will email you after this, after I do review your portfolio. I like how I kept it dark blue. She actually. Like how she kept it dark blue, orange, white, consistent color palette makes viewing experiences that much better. Yeah, she really minimizes color palette. I think she did a good job with that. Would you recommend? I mean, this is what you can do with a basic color palette too. You don't have to overcomplicate it. This is like websites like this are a lesson in design. Like they really are with trying to keep things simple. So many people overcomplicate high fidelity decisions. Would you recommend making a portfolio in Vanilla.js? I have heard that using React or some JS framework may be unnecessary, may be overkill. Yeah, you don't need to use React.js for a portfolio. The only reason you should be using React.js for your portfolio is to reinforce your skills, right? But if you've made a few complex projects in React and you've gotten pretty good with it and all you're doing is basically making a bunch of lists in React, should you really bring React into your portfolio? Probably not, right? So you're probably not even growing from using it again. It depends. I mean, there's a chance that you could really reinforce your skills, even some of those basic features of React. Retyping them out can help reinforce it. You have to decide if you think it's going to be helpful or not. But do you need to? No, you absolutely do not. And I think people should consider that as a possibility not to bring in React for their portfolio. Are there a lot of submissions? Let me see. No, not too many, because we're doing this one. We might get time to do one more, and then I have like 3 or 4 more after that right now. I can usually get done 4 to 5 portfolio reviews or project reviews within one live stream. So yeah, there aren't a whole lot. I'm watching you on mobile and everything is slightly fuzzy looking. Is because how much is happening on your stream? It's not normally like this. Can you manually select the bitrate? You should have like a cogwheel on mobile, and you should be able to, maybe it's on auto, and it could be because you have an inconsistent network connection. See if you can select source or 1080p. Your mobile works? Okay. I feel like that's a local issue, but if it's not, definitely let me know. All right, let's look at her file sizes. Yeah, 5 megabytes. Oh my God. Okay. Really? Over 2 megabytes? No way in hell. Okay, yo, what is this? A PNG. You need to run your images through this website and use these images. Tiny PNG. Really convenient, takes like 10 seconds. You can load a bunch of images in and just download the minified files, condensed files, whatever. So run all of your images through that, and you're going to drastically reduce this file size. And chances are, let's see. All right. What am I looking for? I am looking for the resolution of the picture. It's going to be here. Okay, what? Really? That's huge. There's no reason for that image to be that big when it's this small. I broke it. I broke your website. That's interesting. Maybe I should start doing this. Your breakpoints are a bit off. What's going on here? Ooh, I need to start doing this. I completely forgot about this. I think I used to do this for my old portfolio reviews. You might want to adjust that. Looks a bit broken to me. Glad we caught it. Glad we caught it indeed. Yeah, that did it. It normally auto sets to that. Thank you for troubleshooting. You're welcome. No problem. All right, so yeah, I would condense these images. What about your, let's see, what about your, oh, let me do a hard refresh. 48 hero image. What? There it is. Yep. You have all of your projects. This is too big. Let's go JS. 24. It's not terrible. Scroll minimum. Let's go CSS. Okay. Yeah, it's your images really pushing up this, or pushing up the amount of resources that are being loaded, or the size of the resources. I would reduce that. Tiny PNG will go a long way with that. I mean, those were huge images. And so I don't know like what resolution you would plan for with that big of an image. But even like experimenting with just increasing the size of the website, I feel like you need to go back into your media queries and adjust some things. Cool. That's it for this website. That is it. She also didn't use a bunch of animations. And it still looks good. Yep, I love that observation for sure. Yeah, she didn't. Some colors are just that good. I mean, and she's pretty minimal with the content as well. She knows what content to deliver it. And yeah, it overall it's just a really good design. It is. Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys sharing feedback and sharing your opinions in chat while we do this. We're getting more submissions now. They're starting to pile up. So we could definitely do another one in the near future. And I will leave in the comment below, I will leave a link to the form link where you can submit something like this. You can submit a portfolio or a portfolio project. And the next time, I don't have a date of the next time we're going to do this. It's kind of just whenever I feel like it, to be honest. But then I'll email you. If you do miss it, I'll email you the review. Yeah, that's it. I don't think we have time for another project, but I'm glad we got to do, I think we did 4 projects. We did 3. Okay, well, we got through 3 projects. Usually it's 4 to 5, but yeah, hopefully that was helpful in your own designs. I'm telling you, design in general, it's tricky. It's very tricky. And I kind of just want to get people used to just UX thinking, just considering even basic things like spacing and simplifying your colors and, you know, focusing on like what is your primary call to action. And like these are the kind of things that you're going to be doing as a front-end developer, especially as a front-end developer. You're going to be focused on these things. You're going to care about the user. You're going to care about the business problems. You're going to be involved in these conversations with design, especially if it's a much smaller company as well. So this is the kind of thinking that makes you stand out. If you're going to do any product work, like majority of positions are usually product work, products that are internal or external. Like you want to start training your mind to think about this kind of stuff, and it doesn't have to be complicated either. The biggest mistake I made was allowing my perfectionism to drive my growth as a developer. I have a graveyard full of projects. I'm telling you, I understand how overwhelming it can be to like finally come up with what your website is going to look like. It's not that difficult, and people overcomplicate it. Start with the bare bones information. Fuck the design. Well, honestly, like fuck the design, fuck the colors. Focus on the bare bones wireframe of delivering the content in the sections you want to, and the sitemap of like what different sections your site is going to contain to deliver that content depending on, you know, where the user is navigating to and what they're looking for, right? So simplify it as much as you can and let that color scheme, let that high fidelity stuff come out later. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for the reviews. Thank you for sharing your portfolio if you are in chat. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate people having some guts to show some of this. It's not easy to do, to be put on the spot like this. So kudos to everyone that submitted it. All right. And like usual, oh, I still don't have it? Are you kidding me? How do I not have this? I got to put this up. Patreon. Again, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate this. I'm telling you, every single month, all this income goes directly towards my bills. So people that do support me on Patreon, YouTube, Twitch, thank you so much. If you want to do it, it's just $5 a month. That's it. We actually are going to be doing a live Q&A, or not a live Q&A. We're going to be doing a private video Q&A in our Discord server, which Discord link is going to be in the video description. That's free to join, but we're going to be doing a video chat. It's going to be private. You can ask me questions. It's a little bit more like private and personal versus this live stream Q&A format. And I noticed people in the supporters channel, you haven't voted on times yet. And so it's only Tuesday, but you got to let me know by Friday, and then I'll schedule it for next week. So be sure that you vote in the doodle that I provided. That's it. Oh, you just joined us, Dave. Always glad to have you, even if it's at the very end. All right, thanks everyone. That's it for the portfolio review. I'll see you guys on Discord. Good luck on all of your projects. We will be live on Friday, 1:30 Central Time. We'll do an open-ended Q&A, but happy coding, everyone. Take care. I need to hook up these buttons. I'm reaching all